What's going on, folks? Happy Wednesday night and welcome to Deep in the Plus. I'm Rob Whiteside. I'll be your host tonight, and thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tonight we are going to be talking about the 1993 classic Cool Runnings. And you know what? You can't speak Cool Runnings unless you're speaking it with Mr. Pete Carney.
Hey! Peace be the journey! Oh, it's going so well. I am so excited to talk about my favorite Disney movie ever.
Are you serious? Ever? Like, this is it? This is the one?
Honestly, I was thinking about this today. Like, what movie do I love more than this? This is like, and I can't think of a single movie that I love as much as this one, or that I can quote as much. Even Lauren, like I said, I watched most of it. I rewatched most of it today. I watched it over the weekend too. Just so I have super fresh, and she's like, you're able to quote 90% of the movie, and I'm like, yeah, like, and she's like, you can't do that with any other movie, and you know my background with movies, so yeah. That's true. So this is like Desert Island movie for you, right? Like, this is the one. Like, if somebody said, what's your Desert Island movie, this is it. Over and over again, you're watching this one. I guess so. Man, that's crazy to think about, because there's so many good movies out there, but I can't think of another one. This is it for sure.
Okay, so Disney was already famous for doing like sports-inspired movies, right? Because we got like Remember the Titans, we've got Miracle, we've got, and you see them all when you pull it up on Disneyplus. You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot they did all of these inspiring true life movies. McFarlane USA later on. So, you know, doing this one, you kind of forget that it is like a biographical pick because it's so super fantastic. The idea of a Jamaican bobsled team, 1988. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right?
Well, you're talking about the 88 team, but the movie came out in 93. But keep in mind, out of all the sports movies, and I hate to say this, Cool Runnings is probably the most loosely based on the real thing sports movie Disney's ever produced. Like, almost half of the things that happened in this movie didn't really happen in real life. I don't want to spoil that, because like, when I found that out, it kind of broke my heart a little bit, because it is such a feel-good movie, and they had to rework this script for years. Like, this script bounced around, had many different iterations. It started out as actually a serious drama, and then I think it landed on the perfect version. The actors said the same thing, that this was the way the movie...
Warm, like, Jamaica tropical, you know, environment, and it's wonderful and beautiful. One of the things that I learned in kind of going deep on this movie is that they actually started the filming in Canada, in the cold.
Yeah,
and then they ended up
in Canada, and then they went to Jamaica. Yeah,
which is the smart way to do it. You don't start at Grand Floridian and then end up in All-Star Resort. You don't do that.
Yeah, no, you don't want to go from Blizzard Beach to Poly. It's the other way around. You want to go to your room and settle in, and then you go to Blizzard Beach once you've experienced the Florida sun.
Yeah. All right. So let's start.
I mean, they open the movie so perfectly too. Like, to me, this was one of the best. Even every time I watch it, I'm like, man, like, this happens already, and there's so many iconic lines and moments as it goes through. Like, you know, like they say every movie has like a first, second, and third act. I feel like this is like 12 acts, and I love all of them. I guess probably like more than scenes. There's probably a bunch of different scenes, but like just as they go through, like, you know, the qualifying race, right, with the big trip, which sets up the whole movie and how these guys come to be, is like this epic moment. You're like, wow, this is crazy. Like, these poor runners, introduces Doris and Yulebrenner, and then it goes to the Derby cart, you know, when they're pushing them down the mountain, introducing, oh my God, Dougie Doug is amazing in this movie, by the way. So many one-liners, which
slow down, man. You're going too fast. You got to slow down. You got to take your time.
You just go, and I'll interject.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, my friend. So,
I'm so excited.
This movie, 1993, $17 million to make, made 154 at the box office. Hans Zimmer did the music. You know, it's got all the makings of a 1990s movie, and it's just, I mean, and you know, you were talking about the music actually gives me Epcot vibes. Like, it's got that sort of weird, like, sound to it. That I don't know. I know that sounds weird. But when the movie opens up, yeah,
did an amazing job. And also, there's a pop song which won and got a ton of critical acclaim too. I forget the name of it. You probably have it in front of you. But there was a pop song that gained a bunch of acclaim as well. I could find it, but
I can see clearly now. Oh, stir it up. Stir it up, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big deal too. So you have like great Hans Zimmer music, and you also have the I can see clearly now like Jamaica, and then all the Jamaican vibe too. It just you're on vacation when you watch this movie.
I love that Leon Robinson, who plays Doris, is the first one credited, and he's just credited as Leon.
Leon,
like
I know,
that's what
it's amazing.
Like, yeah,
so
make that.
Leon.
You got to make that statement early, Leon. Yeah, and you know most of these guys are still working. Obviously, John Candy, who was in this movie, has passed away. This was one of his last movies, but the rest of these guys, like Dougie Doug. These guys are still working, which is kind of cool too to see, because a lot of times in these older movies that we kind of do deep in the plus on, it's kind of like they were one and done, but these guys have kind of had sort of steady careers as they go along. So it opens up. Doris is getting ready to train. He's training for the Olympics. He's trained for this because his dad was a sprinter. He wants to be a sprinter. He's trained for this moment. Everybody's behind him. The whole village loves him. Everybody's happy and excited, and they go to do this very first. Actually, he goes and he visits Sanka, who is Dougie Doug, who is a pushcart derby champion. He thinks he is. I mean, he crashes in, into this stand at the bottom of the hill, but he thinks he's the champion. He's the best pushcart driver on the island. And so
I believe he said that he was a seven-time champion. I believe is the exact number.
All right. So maybe he just had a bad day when we see him. So then they go and they're doing these Olympic trials, and you've got the character that we'll know as Yul Brynner is there, and he's like, buff and ready to be a racer, and you got Doris there who's been training all his life, and then this kid Junior who's very he's very cordial to them, and he's like, this is going to be great, good luck to you, you guys are great, you're awesome. And they start the run, and this devastating moment that turns the tide of the whole movie when Junior falls and pulls down Yul Brynner and Doris with him. I just want to reach into the screen and just smack the crap out of him, because this is the thing that turns us into the journey, right? This is the devastating moment that takes us on the journey, but it sucks. Like, I hate seeing that moment.
Yeah. It's actually kind of so heartbreaking when I'm watching this, and this is one of the things that are true to real life, is that you get that one run where I'm like, why isn't it like a best out of 5? Why don't they just run 5 times and be like, okay, drop your worst race, and then these are the best guys? Like, the fact, especially if there's a trip, but then also, you feel bad for the guy who wins that one time. Man, just from, a sports, heart-wrenching situation, guy is born to follow in his father's footsteps, be an Olympic sprinter, go to the Summer Olympics, and then just because some guy next to you trips, all your hopes and dreams are out the window. And you only have a short window. Will you be an amazing sprinter in 4 years? I don't know. If you... 4 years ago, me could definitely beat right now me. So I mean, I don't know. It's just what a setup for a movie. Rips your heart out.
Right, and then he goes to fight it with the kind of Olympic committee or the guy. I guess I don't know. I don't know what his role is, because he kind of
that's his name in the credits, a Jamaican Olympic guy.
That's probably. So he goes to talk to him, and he's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. And I kind of get that. I kind of get that there's always going to be but this, but that, and Pete's gone forever. So once he goes in and tries to plead his case, I think that what happens next happens very quickly. He goes in and he sees this picture on the wall of his dad, and he's realizing that he's not going to make his dad proud because he's not going to be running in the Olympics this year. And then in it, he sees this other guy. He's like, who is this other guy? Oh, that's Irv. He was your father's friend, and he wanted him to be an Olympic bobsledder because he felt like sprinters would make good bobsledders. So, that is the thing that then we spend the whole rest of the movie focused on, but it happens like that. I mean, it happens very quickly, that moment where he's like, I'm really mad, I'm upset, 4 years of my life down the drain because I can't run until the next Olympics, but wait, I can be a bobsledder, great, I'm going to go find Irv. I mean, it happens so quickly that he's changed his destiny. I guess he's always had his eye on Olympics, but now he's changed his destiny quickly over, and again, this is the romanticizing that Disney has done in this script, but I feel like that section needed to have a little bit more to it.
I agree to a point. One, I mean, this is a Disney film for the entire family, so you're trying, what scene would you cut out to show more here? But also I think it shows, to me, an Olympic mindset, like that this is why these are the top athletes in the world, that 1% of athletes, if you want to call them that, who just think like that. Like, okay, well, this is not a, oh, shucks, like, woe is me, I guess I'll never be in the Olympics. It's automatically, okay, with that Olympic mindset, how can I change the situation to a positive? You know, like, all right, what's the next best thing? How am I going to get to the Olympics? I just think I think it shows his character too, and I think they do a great job setting up each character in that way. Like, this showed, to me, when Doris has that kind of go get it, there's no such thing as failure kind of attitude. It's when they go and do the whole driver speech later on in the movie where it's like the driver's the first one to show up, the last one to leave. He's responsible for the lives of the 4 guys in your sled. Like, when he's naming all those things, you're like, wow, yeah, that is Doris. And like Sanka says, okay, I think Doris should be the driver. Like, so I just think that's an attitude.
So here's then, they go to find Irv, and this story has been told a million times. The washed up guy who's like face down in a bottle or whatever, or down on his luck, and they go and find him and plead for him to just come back. Just come back for one more, Rocky. Just come back for one more. And there are a lot of things that I've seen recently, like Cobra Kai. You know, Johnny's down on his luck, and they go and something turns around, and he, sorry.
Okay, I haven't seen Karate Kid yet either.
And and then the upcoming Mighty Ducks is the same thing, where Emilio Estevez is down on his luck, the new TV show on Disneyplus. So it's like this story's been told a million times, but you sort of never get tired of seeing it because the guy's at rock bottom, and he's always like, nah, kid, it's over for me. I mean, even Phil from Hercules, nah, kid, it's over for me. I can't do it anymore. And it's like, okay, just one more time, I'm going to try this. And so they convince Irv, again, played wonderfully by John Candy. This may be my favorite John Candy role of all time, maybe next to Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Or maybe the guy at the security guard from Vacation. I don't know. Those are my favorites from him.
Or the King of the Polka in Home Alone.
Okay. Or in Blues Brothers. Dole Whip? Anyway, so when... Watch a movie once in a while, not just this one. It's a good movie, but watch another movie once in a while, Pete. So they go and they get him and they bring him back into the fold. He's going to do it one last time, and they go and they do this training, or like an interest meeting, I guess, at the community center, where they're going to talk about bobsleds. And of course, the first thing he does is he turns off the lights and shows them the movie about like how they're going to get crushed and their bones are going to break and it's snow and all that, and you just know.
He's like, fun fact, your bones don't break when you create a bobsled crash. Like, they shatter. Like, he's like making it as unappealing as possible.
Right. And then the lights come up, and you knew this moment was going to happen where Dougie Fresh Dougie Doug was over, and it's dark in the room, and it comes up, and it's just Sanka sitting there, and the whole room is empty. And then it's like, well, then here comes Yul Brynner, and he's going to be involved. And then here comes Junior, and they hate him because he's the one that put him in this mess. And now they've decided that they're going to go ahead and let him in because they need to have 4 guys. And we have a bobsled team.
Yeah, I also like part of like movie magic that I'll allow. Like, Lauren always says, like, I let Cool Runnings get away with too much. Because, like, after a movie, I'm like, well, that's so unrealistic. Or, like, that is just a little bit too much of a stretch. But, I mean, it's just such a funny moment where, like, obviously they would hear and see everyone getting up and leaving in the middle of this movie. So the fact that they show a 40-second, 45-second movie, they turn on the lights, and every single seat is empty. The benches up front, in front of Sanka, are empty. And they all look around like it's a surprise. Like, oh, what's going on here? Like, I don't know. It makes you smile. Like, it's that aha moment. And then, of course, like you said, Yul and Junior walks in. And then also, this is a big introduction to Yul of, like, how he, like, one, he's, like, the big, bad, angry, bald man who just, like, you, and, like, tries to attack him. And then, like, you see, like, lanky, funny Sanka trying to break it up. And, of course, the voice of reason, Doris, like, well, this is it. It's the 4 of us or we're not in the Olympics. And it's like, so take it or leave it. And he's like, all right, like, if I have to. But it's starting to do that character development. I love it so much.
Yeah. So then we see, we go to the point where we find out more about Junior. Junior goes back home, and you find out Junior's like freaking rich, or at least his dad is. And so he's going to tell his dad that he's going to try to do this bobsled thing, and the dad's like, oh well, at least you're not doing that Olympic thing anymore. I got your real job. You got to go down here and do this real job thing. So you see that sort of struggling again.
Wagner and Cohen. Oh yeah, Wagner Cohen. Yes. I love that he practices on the dog too. Another just like such a movie gimmick scene, like before it cuts away, like, no, father, I am going to the Olympics, and then like it cuts and he's talking to his dog on the hood of his car. It's just like that warm-up practice, and again, you're learning about Junior and like how he is just very easily intimidated, trying to do the right thing, people pleaser, gotta please the parents kind of guy. Like won't speak up. Has to practice asking his dad for permission to go to the Olympics. So again, more character development there. It's a great scene.
Yep. So they start training on the island, and I kind of after last week when Patrick and I did a Herbie the Love Bug review, I was looking at like the love bug that they showed there just a second ago and thinking, I guess it's part of their training. Obviously, they're doing this whole thing where they've got. Yeah, they're trying to like jump into these little cars, but there was the love bug in there that they were pushing, and then they've got this little thing they put together, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is very interesting. What's happening here? I don't know." So then oh my gosh, but this one where he decides he's going to train them for the cold weather.
So good.
This is so perfect, and
I love when he snaps the dread off. Like he just like snaps the dread off like right here. He's like, "It's so cold." Ugh.
Man.
Going down the hill, like that was very Miracle-esque too, and like John Candy's like again, like kind of like the whistle with the blue line in Miracle, like just back to the top of the hill, doing that like sports training, like hey, like just repetition, reps. So
everybody loves a good montage. So they're spending their time on the island getting ready, and they're trying to raise money, and they do a whole bunch of things, and again in a montage to raise money, whether it's like the kissing booth and trying to do some other things to raise money, and all they end up with is like basically lint and buttons, and then like, Junior comes in.
I believe he was like, we're short like either like 15,000 or 19,000. Those are the two numbers that jump out in my head. Also hilarious though, because like Sanka, they're like, all right, Doris raised a ton of money in the kissing booth. Also hilarious scene when Sanka takes his place and it's the old Jamaican lady with like the real thin lips, and he, Doris has been kissing everyone, and then his girlfriend's like, "Hey, get over here, buddy." But even when they go to that scene when they're counting the money, yeah, this is it right here. So good. But anyway, they ask Sanka, how much money do you have? And he's like, gives a whole speech, like, with lots of hard work, I'm here for the team. And they're like, come on, man, like, what did you raise? Like $1.67. It's just so good.
Yeah. So after all that's said and done, they don't have enough money, but Junior comes in, slaps a bunch of money on the table, and he sold his car so that he can take them, on this adventure to go to Canada for the Olympics. And so, now they're on their way. Yul Brynner's like, I still don't like you, but they're going to go anyway, and they go to Canada. And then in Canada, now they're facing this cold weather for the first time. They're getting acclimated again. There's a montage where they get winter clothes that they didn't bring with them. There's a scene where they're going out of the airport, and Sanka puts on all of his clothes. Yes. So I mean, there's a lot of neat little things around that time about them being frozen in Calgary. But to me, this is like the whole fish out of water thing now, is that they're trying to get rid of they're trying to get used to the cold. They don't have a lot of resources. And now John Candy goes into his mode when he's going to go and beg for a sled. And so then you feel bad for this character now, because he'd hit rock bottom. He's trying to lift himself up by the bootstraps. You still don't know his backstory at this point as to why he was kind of blackballed from bobsledding, but you do see that he is like, swallowed his pride and hat in hand trying to ask for a sled. And then he gets a sled, which is obviously just the worst one that was available. But in the thing that you were talking about it, the difference between the real story and this story is that apparently in the real story of the Olympics, you want to tell this?
Pay attention. This is a good fun fact. I know where you're going with this, and it's the only fun fact that I like that didn't ruin the magic for me.
Yeah, so in if this is the same thing you're thinking, in the real story, the other teams were so supportive of the Jamaican team. Like they were so like uplifted by them that they donated a second sled to the
It was actually
team.
The United States gifted them a sled. The United States bobsled team. You're right, USA. Yeah, the United States gifted them a sled. They didn't have to buy one. So in the scene in the movie, and again, setting up Candy's character and like what happened, he goes to say hi to his former teammates in the hallway, and his coach won't even shake his hand, walks right by, and he goes, "All right, I guess it hasn't been enough time." His other teammate's like, "Geez, you put on weight. Good luck with you," and like kind of like brushes him off. And then the third teammate is like, "Good to see you," and he's like, "Meet me in a half an hour. Like I need a big favor." And then says like, "Can you sell me the cheapest sled? I just need something, please." And he's like, all right, I'll try and find you something. And he gets this hunk of junk, that barely works. They use great like Foley artists, because when they like unveil the sled, you hear like screws falling and pieces of metal falling onto the floor, to really just emphasize that this is a complete disaster.
Yep.
And of course, you have Doris the man is like, shh, she's beautiful, for this garbage sled.
Yeah, and then there's where they're trying to learn how to operate on ice.
Oh, this is so good too.
Yeah, and they like this is something out of like a Don Knotts movie, them trying to stand up on the ice or something like that. It's very, I mean, it's very, very screwball comedy.
And I love too where he's like, all right, well, we better get out of here before practice. And then it's like the Russian hockey team comes storming onto the ice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to this movie that is very fun, very entertaining, and it's got a little bit of comedy. It's got a lot of heart. But it's an hour and 40 minutes, I think, and it feels like you get absorbed into it, and it just kind of flies by. And that's why I was talking about like some of the scenes feel like they were a little too short to me. Like I would have loved for there to have been more, but obviously to be a family movie is sort of compressed for time along the way. So
it's funny you mention family movie, because there's a few moments in this movie that are very PG-13 as well. You have Yul Brynner flat out drops an alien swirling saucers hole on screen. I don't know if it's dubbed out. I mean, but on my Disneyplus, he said the word. There's a whole fight in a bar scene, which also to me is like very PG-13, and it doesn't say any of this. Like it doesn't say language or like violence. When you start the movie, it just says tobacco depictions, which I don't even know when that takes place in the movie. And then there's another scene too. It's later on in the movie, but when we get there, I'm sure I'll think of it. But like just to go along with like kind of like that Disney family other side of it, I think a lot of the liberties they took were kind of to help promote. Like this, I think is a progressive movie. Like like it's how come nobody likes us here? And he's like, they just don't like what's different. 4 black guys in a sled in Calgary. So it kind of, I think, especially at the time back in '93, like that's a cool message to send to families and everything else. Like, don't just judge a book by its cover. Don't just dislike something because it's different from what you are used to or what you see in front of your face. And like you said, the real version is Jamaica was welcomed to the Olympics. Kind of there was no animosity. But I think Disney kind of took this liberty, and it kind of it was a good story to tell. I think it was a good lesson to be learned, whether people picked up on that or not.
Yeah, so here's the scene where they actually come out for the first time, and everybody's working on their rides, and they've got their hunk of junk, and everybody who is out here like just staring at them, like, what is happening? Who do you guys think you are? Like, what is that piece of garbage that you're gonna be participating with? But yeah, it does feel like that the stuff that actually happened was a lot more supportive than this, which makes me feel good. I mean, that's what the Olympics are all about, right? I mean, it's countries coming together. So I get that it was for effect, and I'm glad that wasn't like actually the story. There's a scene at the end of this one where they crash, and it's like, Sanka, are you dead? Is the line that he says. And apparently, I don't know that was originally, like, don't think that was originally in the script. Have you seen something about that?
I think Dougie Doug took a little bit of ad-libbing there.
Yeah.
And also, that's where we introduced, like, the Lucky Egg, too. Like, some Lucky Eggs in the pushcart derby. And then he, like, has Yul Brynner kiss the Lucky Egg. And he's like, I'm not going to kiss your Lucky Egg. And the sled crashes. And then also, that's the same scene, the crash scene, where right before they get pushed because they're not doing it, yeah, there's kiss the Lucky Egg. But right after this is when Sanka goes, Coach, I got to go. And then he's like, what do you mean you got to go? He's like, I got to go. And he's like, hold it. He's like, what do you mean hold it? And he's like, okay, bye. And he pushes him down the thing, and they crash. And then, there's that great line too, where he's like, Sanka, you can go now, and he's like, too late. Which is just all these little one-liners that it just warms your heart and you can't help but smile.
Yeah.
The lucky egg, too late. It's so good.
So anyway, aside from in the chat them talking about wishables, which by the way, we have 43 thumbs up and we have 59 people watching. So if we can get to, I don't know, 43. I mean, if you can get us to like 60, I'll do a wishable opening. I swear I will. So, because apparently y'all love that. So, anyway, but when it comes to this movie and that lucky egg thing, that was kind of funny, and they brought it up a lot. But I looked at a story that said Dougie still has those eggs. Like, he still has them. Like, that's a thing. Apparently they were rubber, which that makes sense. But so there's along this time we find out that Irv had cheated in the Olympics, and that's what got him kicked out of the 72 Olympics. I don't know if that's a true story or not. Like, if their coach, I don't think it is. That the original coach.
Their coach, their coach, there wasn't this like Irv, there was no Irv character. They had regular trainers and coaches. There was no cheating or disgrace. That was more to build the storyline of this movie. There was no cheating. There was no coach that had conspiracy. They came in just as a regular team with regular coaches and trainers. They did, however, one part that is real is they do get DQ'd for some like ridiculous reason and not allowed to run. And other countries stepped up, including like the King of Monaco. So they did have to file an appeal, and then the appeal was overturned, and they were allowed to run in the Olympics. But also the movie makes it seem like they were this amazing team. I think they finished like 24 out of 26 out of the bobsled teams. Yeah. But they were a new team. That is all true. They did have to borrow sleds, and the whole them getting kicked out for something silly and then letting back in. It wasn't obviously like the International Alliance. It was just the Olympic Committee. They have this funny conference room, and they make it so thematic. But so that is true. But there was no cheating in the real Olympic story. But it's great for the movie. Great.
Right. So in this, we find out that Irv apparently cheated, and he weighted the front of the bobsled. And then, so there's drama there. Then they go out to the bar. Junior and Yule and Dougie go out to the bar.
No, hold on. So kind of an important part is right before they go to the bar, Junior gets a telegram from his father telling him he has to come home. That enough with the Olympics. He won't put up with this anymore. He's got to come home. So he kind of opens a telegram as they're getting ready to go out to this bar. They go out to the bar, and that is when the Swiss guy, who also is factually correct, the Swiss were the best team at the time in these Olympics, and they ended up winning the gold, kind of gets in the face of Junior. And there's that whole bathroom scene, which is one of the best. Like, I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother that won't take no crap out of no one. Say it again. I see pride. And he's like, what do you see? And he gets all pumped up like, I see pride. I see power. And he goes out and he gets in the Swiss guy's face. And the Swiss guy hits him back. And he's like, do what, Jamaica? Do what? And then he's like, Yul Brynner standing there. He's like, do this. Boom. Punches him in the face. All right, I'm not going to go through the whole movie. But there's a great bar fight. Then Sanka comes, like, he says he's doing the country line dancing. He's got the great cowboy hat on. He's like, oh, sorry, little lady. Got to go help my friends. Jumps over the bar, does a yippee-ki-yay. Such a great scene. Sorry. I'll be quiet now. Yeah, here it is. Oh, right here. Oh, excuse me, miss. And then he's like, yippee-ki-yay! Woohoo!
So you stepped all over the thing because I was gonna put you on the spot and ask you if you knew like the mantra he was doing in the bathroom, and you just laid. I see pride. I see. How many times do you look in the mirror and say that to yourself, Pete? Every morning. Okay, that makes sense.
Every Wednesday before Park Center, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother that won't take no crap out of Whiteside. And then I jump in there.
No. It ain't like that at all. So now in this whole fight, they've sort of become a team, right?
Yes. This is when they bond as a group because they were 4 individuals which had become one.
And then, of course, after that, we have a training montage where they go from okay to great.
Where, the coach comes in the room, yells at everybody like, I've had enough. Now I'm going to come in and kick some butt. And to show that they have united and that they agree, like, it's time for them to come together, they wake him up early the next day and they go, rise and shine, it's butt whipping time. And then they go out, rise above it, da, 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 rise above it. I don't want to get us dinged and do the whole thing, but.
No, I mean, that's where the montage starts, man. He's laying there in bed, and they come and they give him...
Rise and shine, it's butt whipping time.
And then, yeah, it goes into the montage. Anyway, so every good sports movie has a montage. Rocky had a montage. They all have montages. And their time gets better and better. But that's the thing, too, is like, you know, you were saying they got disqualified for something, but there's all these moments in the movie where the bad guy keeps, like, you know, the leader of the U.S. team, it seems to be the bad guy. I don't know why, but so he I guess because he's punishing Irv, he keeps changing the rules, and they're saying, well, you have to have a faster qualifying time. Oh, did we? No, it's faster than that. So he keeps changing, like moving the line of what they have to do.
Yeah, they changed the qualifying time the first time. I believe it's his former coach. He's no longer with the U.S. Now he's on the board of the Olympic Committee or whatever, the IOACA or whatever. But first they changed the qualifying time twice. They actually do it. They do it in under a minute flat. And the way they get DQ'd is they say, oh, they need to qualify in an international event first. And he says, not in an Olympic year, this qualifies. And he goes, well, we changed it. You need to come from another event first. And he's like, that's BS. If you're going to punish me, but don't punish my guys. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if, like, again, that's a very a very big moment is the John Candy speech in front of the whole in front of the whole panel in that room in the like boardroom setting. That's again a very romanticized thing that happened because, like you said, the other teams got together and said no, let's bring them back in. Then they do the race and they're actually showing footage from the original 1988 Olympics in some cases here. So, I mean, that brings some authenticity to it.
I know we have another program after this. I know I'm talking way too much, but this you put me on for my favorite movie I'm going to talk. When they're painting the sled is when they name the sled, which is also the title of the movie, Cool Runnings, which of course means peace be the journey. Another great line is when they're like, let's name it Tallulah. And he's like, oh, that sounds like a $2 hooker. And he's like, that's my mother's name. Like, it's just so many great one-liners. But, yeah, when they're painting the sled, now that they've qualified, that's when they get the letter that they were DQ'd, and then they get overturned. But, yes, fast forward. But that's where the name of the movie comes from. Cool Runnings, Peace Be the Journey. Doris names it. Okay, we're at the Olympics. Here it is. Yeah, so they're painting the sled, jazzing it up, really giving it a nice little fresh coat. Oh, look at that.
Could you have used regular paints and stickers and made it look like that? I don't know. I feel like this is
a paint job, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
this just got back from like an auto detailer.
Yeah,
and he's like, congrats, I'm proud of you guys, you're doing great. And then all these sing to the messenger. All right, we got to name the sled. How about Tallulah? But yeah, great scene there in the garage.
Okay,
lots of cheers.
So they were using a chant. They were using the chant they heard the Swiss using. Like them counting. Trine. But things weren't working out for them, and so they decided that it was time to do things the Jamaica way. And they changed it. And what did they change it to, Pete?
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up! It's bobsled time! Cool
yes, sir.
Runnings! Oh, so good. I do that all the time in the parks, too.
So it's funny to me that you mentioned the parks, because we have a little joke at WDWNT about a bobsled facility. I don't know if people know about it or not.
It's secret.
Yeah, it's a secret Swiss bobsled training facility. But one of the things that I found when I was looking through all this is we may be a little wrong here because it says a secret Swiss Olympic bobsled training camp.
Oh, this is straight up out of Cool Runnings, 100%. The only nod to Cool Runnings in maybe any Disney park, if it would have been
right?
made.
I mean, Don't you think it was basically made for Cool Run? I mean, this would have been perfect. 100%. A Jamaica exhibit at Epcot with a Cool Runnings. Oh my gosh! I mean, you would spend all your time there.
I would have spent all my time there. The Matterhorn adapts so well to a bobsled as well. Just saying. But a bobsled ride is incredible if it would have happened. I know we talked on many shows about what was supposed to happen in Germany. Also Mount Fuji, the secret Swiss Olympic bobsled training facility. And also think about it too, Cool Runnings back in '93 at a $17 million budget, like you said, made over 150 something million dollars. And that's in '93 money. So like if you had that kind of box office success now, I mean, this would be a big deal. It probably would get some kind of IP love somewhere. So I mean, I don't have the inflation calculator, but that's a legit box office and a big return for the studio.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of movies that, I talked about this last week on Deep in the Plus that Patrick and I did with Herbie. Because Herbie is an IP that I think they don't use enough of, that I think would have been a really cool one for the parks. And of course, there are little hints of it, like in Lights, Murders, Action, there was one. But anyway, I agree with you. This is one that it feels like they should use more often. Maybe they would if there was some kind of a representation at World Showcase. Seems like it would have been a good one. So they get into the Olympics, they race, they don't do well the first time, they get all hyped up, they go back the next time. They're on pace to have an amazing run, and then they crash because the old sled falls apart. And they crash, and so everybody's devastated by this. It's the moment. I mean, I can see you crying about it now.
This is the one like when they crash. I mean, the coach is looking for them. They've bonded as a team. They become accepted by everyone in the Olympics.
Here it is.
And then this iconic, the parting of the Red Sea, and they come out of this crash. Not only are they okay, but they decide to carry this 2-ton sled, which, by the way, they should have been weightlifters in the Summer Olympics, down the lane. I mean, that sled weighs, each one of these guys are bearing around 500 or more pounds, which Sanka's the only one that shows that the rest of these guys are just jacked out of their faces, I guess. But yeah, a big tearjerker moment. With the music, you can't help but shed a tear, and if you don't, then you're not human, and you probably are a Universal fan. I don't know.
Oh wait, I forgot one of the moments about this as they're doing all this that I wanted to make sure not to miss, because it's everybody's favorite thing that is the slow clap.
Oh, from the Swiss driver and then the third guy, his best friend. This is I want to say the best slow clap in any film of all time. And clap. You challenge me on that?
No, I agree with you, man. It's the best slow clap.
This is the slow clap of all slow claps right there. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then and then the other moment where you start crying, at least for me, because like I always wanted to make my dad like proud. I've only seen my dad cry once. It was like when I won the spelling bee or something like that, or at graduation I gave a speech or something like that. But like I saw my dad cry once, and there's a scene right when they're walking out, and the father, Junior's dad, who said no, you can't bobsled, go work for the big company, opens up his jacket and has the Jamaican Bobsled Team shirt on. And you're like, oh, he's got dad's approval? Forget about it. Like, I'm getting chills even talking about it. It was just like one of those moments. Like, if the slow clap and the carrying a sled and everyone clapped, like, the dad moment puts it over the top.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, we only got 56 likes, so I can't open the wishbowl. We didn't get to 60. Anyway, so I think that every one of the points that I wanted to make, I think I hit on. And again, I know this is your favorite movie. This was one that you and I did one other Deep in the Plus, and afterwards you were like, I want to come back and do Cool Runnings. I'm glad we finally got to do it and talk about it. Before we get into like your overall like final thoughts on it, is there anything else you wanted to talk about this movie? Because I want to make sure you get your moment.
No, I kept interrupting so much. I feel like I said almost everything about the movie. But I'll do an overall takeaway if we're doing that. But I feel like I touched on everything.
So then I'm going to ask you, Pete, because this is how we do it on Deep in the Plus every time, is that I need to know, Pete Carney, would you recommend this movie?
Would I recommend this movie? Are you crazy? I see some people in the chat haven't seen this. Go immediately. Like, do not pass go. You must go watch this movie. It is such a feel-good movie. The best part is, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to be in a certain mood for it. It has the drama. It has the tears, but it has tons of laughs. You could watch it with anyone. Honestly, I don't know anyone who I've watched this with who hasn't laughed, chuckled, enjoyed it. And even though there are parts a little romanticized or a little bit exaggerated upon, this is a movie for anyone. It's got so many great little moments. It's just a feel-good movie. It's not going to be the funniest movie you've ever seen. It's not going to be the saddest or the most inspirational. But it is, to me, just hits a little bit on everything. It's the total package for a movie. And it just makes you feel good. And it's got that 90s vibe. So, like, even the outfits they wear and the music, the vibe, like, it's just a fun nod back to the 90s, even though they're portraying something that happened in the 80s, which is funny.
You know, now everybody in the chat's saying the next movie should be Clue. Because
oh, boy. Is that on Disneyplus, though?
No, it's not. You're never going to live that one down, my friend. I'm sorry. You're never going to live that one down.
Clue, Hour of Terror.
Exactly. So let me just say, you know, for me, that this movie was one of those that I liked this movie. I know you loved this movie. I liked this movie before, and then went back and watched it again for this, and I get it. I mean, there's a lot of quotable lines in this one. I would definitely recommend this one to anybody who hadn't seen it. I don't think it's one of those where you know, it's like important to Disney history, because that's not a thing. But of all of those like movies, like we talked about, like Remember the Titans, McFarlane USA, Miracle, all the ones that come up when you search this movie, this is my favorite. I mean, and it's an easy watch. It's fun. It stands up, like it stands the test of time. It's got the cool music, like we talked about. The acting is great. I think the story is well told. I think it's very concise. Like, I'm down, man. You've made me a believer. I love this movie, and would definitely recommend it. So, oh my God. Awesome. And we got to 60. We got to 60 likes. So I'm gonna go ahead and see. This is a transportation wishable, Pete. I know you love some merchandise, right? So it's unopened. Yeah. We're gonna open it up.
Is that like an edible product? A wishable, like a cupcake?
No, it could be these are all the vehicles from Magic Kingdom. So you got the train.
Before you open it, what are the 4 options? Because I want to see if I can guess.
Okay, it's the monorail, or the riverboat, or the tram, or a train. Which one is it?
Oh man, I'm gonna say based on the shape of the bag, it's a monorail, but I want it to be a tram. I haven't seen a tram yet, and that guy looks fun. He looks cool. I want the tram. Are you missing one? Like, which one do you need?
I feel like it's a monorail. I feel like it's a monorail. But if it's a monorail, there are 3 different.
Has a monorail. There's so many monorails.
It's a monorail.
I knew it.
It's a red monorail. Pete, next time I see you, this is for you, buddy. Red monorail.
Oh, geez. I have something for you, too. Actually, I don't know if it's here. Hold on. Do you want to see what I have for you?
Sure. I mean, why not?
We have time?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So everybody who watched tonight, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you joining us. If you have not yet, please subscribe to this channel, WDWNT Entertainment, and then give us a like, and we appreciate all that support. We're going to have, next week is going to be The Princess Bride, with Patrick Hackett. It's going to be sort of a pre-Valentine-y type of a thing. We were looking for some kind of a love story thing that wasn't too over the top. It'll be really, I think, one of the first Fox movies that we've reviewed, so very excited about that. So please make sure to come back and check us out. And then tonight, don't forget, you got Tom versus Josh. Sorry, you got to say it the right way. Also, tomorrow, Carousel Products, this cast shirt. The red cast shirt is going on sale tomorrow, Carousel Products. And then this Thursday night, we're going to have some a big California Adventure night on News Tonight, which will also include a new launch with CarouselProducts.com. So, Pete, what do you got?
All right, so it's actually in storage, but I will show you on Park Center instead.
Okay, sounds good.
I will make sure that everyone watch. I mean, I got to keep the people wanting more, right? So Park Center, yep. I will show you there because it's in storage. I have to go get it.
No, that's fine. And don't forget, also on this channel is the RPG is coming back, and there's a teaser that that Tyler told me about that is going to be on tomorrow at 5, I believe. So make sure to tune in for that. Anything else, Pete? Any final thoughts, my friend?
Oh man, I would like to thank everyone for feeling the rhythm, feeling the rhyme, getting on up. You know, Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. We have the one Doris and the one Junior, the fastest of Jamaican sprinters. Come to Olympics for Jamaica. All right, that's all I got. Cool,
Good night, guys.
Peace be the journey. I appreciate you doing this for me.